Hello, church family. I am Pastor Troy Basham, and I want to give you an update of where things currently stand at the Evangelical Bible Church in Dallas, Oregon. Okay, here are the three things you need to know. Number one is about our morning worship service. For the near future, we are going to be maintaining streaming our services online and will not yet be coming back in person. There's a lot of thought and prayer that came into this decision. There was a lot of input that we sought, including the survey that we took from all of you, advice from medical professionals, looking at the regulations by the state, and talking to other ministry leaders both in our community and outside of our community. We are looking ahead to reopening and making sure when we reopen to have in-person morning worship services that we can do it in a manner that minimizes the risk, that complies with state governments, and that does not have an experience that is frustrating to everyone who is coming in. So there's a lot of things that we still have to get right before we can get to that point of coming back together in person. Number two, we do want to add some opportunities for some adult studies. Now that we have a limit of 25 persons, which is a restrictive number, that does still give us the opportunity to add some ministries where we can have person-to-person contact here at the church. We have decided to begin looking at opportunities on Sunday nights. Sunday night, we'll keep Sunday mornings free for the anticipation of coming back in person for that morning service at its proper time. But on Sunday night, there will be adult studies that will be rolled out in the coming weeks. So if you would like to participate in a group or a Bible study in person while maintaining proper social distance and keeping in line with our regulations, you will have some opportunities in the coming days. So be looking for those. Thirdly, even before the studies begin, we're going to begin in prayer. When Nehemiah went to rebuild Jerusalem, he started in prayer. We know that if we want to see this succeed, we need to start by taking this to God. We know you've been praying, but we want to come together as members of our church and to be able to pray over this reopening process. We don't want to rush ahead of God's will. Rather, we want to start by seeking His will and seeking His favor. So we're inviting people to come out and pray this Sunday night. Now that needs to happen by reservation. If you want to participate in person, we need you to call the church office today, Thursday, or Friday so that we can make a list of people. And that's in order to assure that we have enough rooms set aside for prayer. Each group will be no more than the 25 people allowed, but we will have groups properly spaced throughout the facility here to pray. So three things. Worship service is still on a streaming format, but adult studies are coming and prayer time is here. So after a long talk with the elders and a lot of other conversations, both with community officials, local pastors, examining responses by other Christian churches with a similar size congregation in a similar situation, and of course listening to your own voices in the survey, what we've determined to do is to move forward a little bit more slowly than some people would like, probably a little more quickly than others would like. And so Sunday morning services are going to be maintaining the status quo for the near future right here. A couple of things that we still have to work out moving forward are in regards to children's ministry and singing. As you know, children, especially small children, do not socially distance well. And we want to make sure that we have a workable plan moving forward that is good for our families and for everyone else involved. Secondly, singing. Regardless of your personal response to this pandemic, whether you think we're not taking it seriously enough, whether you think that the entire thing is being overblown, both camps seem to realize that one of the most problematic ways of spreading the virus is through water droplets being projected through the air, which happens when we sing. And so we have to stop and consider, what will this look like? We know that worship through song is a very important part of our church experience, a very meaningful part to so many of us. And yet it's a question that we have to answer and get right. Whether that means we won't be singing in person, whether that means we need extra distance. We didn't want to rush forward and not have an answer to that question. And another issue is, when a person comes to the worship service, we want to come and we want to worship. You don't want to have to answer 37 questions before you're screened to get in and get put on a waiting list. And there's a lot of administrative work in order to make a group setting where only 25 people are allowed in a room at a time on a Sunday morning service. So once again, status quo for the morning service at the time, looking forward and planning for that time when we can meet together. Number 2, we will be rolling out in the coming weeks some new opportunities for adult studies in the evening. And then 3, this weekend, an opportunity for prayer for those of you who might want to come out in person. We know there's going to be lots of opinions. We know you may be in different places in your reaction to this. Please continue to pray, continue to seek God in this, and instead of just saying, this is what I want for the church, I hope that all of us can take a moment and say, what does God want to say to me in this? How should I respond? How am I to be changed? How am I to be challenged? And then when we come back together, not just to assume that church will go back to normal, that I know that's what we want, but I think it's even better if we ask, who does God want us to be? So that we can more effectively minister to one another, so that we can be more effective in ministering to our community as we seek to carry out the Great Commission, and in all of these things that we can glorify Him. Well, thank you very much. We will be updating you with new information in the coming weeks here. God bless, and we'll talk to you soon.